Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode in the realm. Today is a big day. It is the second and final debate between me and Kaes before the election. And all my dogs are already there, all of my friends are already there. I was hoping to get the running mates in today, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But that's fine, we'll do just fine by ourselves. And if you saw the last one, you know how it works. We hear some crazy things about colors not existing. Even though there's yellow everywhere in the world, like right there. I do have all the dogs here this time, and my cat, and two of my friends. That's actually one of our judges on the Supreme Court. We have our very own Governor Foreskin, / Speaker Foreskin, and our good opponent. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Alright, well, we're both here. We're both ready. Let's do it. Take it away, Chase.
Alright. Since we started with Kaes last time, we'll start with Jack for today's debate. And our first question is, do you support national player education system, Redstone, combat, or building?
That is a great question, and first, before we start, I'd like to thank you for hosting today. I'd also like to thank Governor Kaes for agreeing to a second debate. I'd also like to say hello to Governor Avery out there, who is his running mate. She and I actually worked really well together recently on a bipartisan bill, I might add, to build that ice highway, and I know you guys are liking how it's coming along. I showed Kaes over there how it's doing, and he's very happy. And to answer your question about the education system, I think it's very beneficial because, you know, a lot of this is team building, and I'm all in favor of supporting education of people to help them get better at either building techniques or redstone, something I personally need some help with. So, you know, I feel like if we help each other out, teach each other things that we know, we learn from our friends, then we can make the world even better than it is now.
Alright. Kaes?
Oh, yeah. So, my thoughts on education. Really, we should be educating people. And that's pretty much it. I don't know why we wouldn't. Education's cool. And so are purple glow sticks. But, you know,
Unrelated, but
that's
okay.
just my thought. Yeah.
Our next question, Jack. Do we need better public access to mob farms, or should they stay private?
You know, that's a good question as well. I think we should eventually have public access to mob farms. First off, we actually need mob farms, because I don't think we have any yet, but to be fair, it's not like you can charge for a mob farm when they spawn like naturally around the world anyway, the mobs. And it's just an efficient way to get levels and some resources, like, you know, skeletons, bones, and arrows, very useful for combat resources. And I don't think that it's really worth it to actually charge money for it, especially because no one would pay for that.
Alright. So essentially you'd want them to be public.
Yes, I would.
Kaes?
Forget about eventually. How about now?
The reason I say eventually is because they don't actually exist yet. When the time comes where they do exist, that's when they can be public. But since they don't exist yet, that's why I use the word eventually.
Oh. Well, then maybe
Okay.
you should... I don't know. Okay. Okay, thanks.
You're
Fully
welcome.
King.
Yeah.
Our next question, Jack. Should mobs be farmed for XP or allowed to roam naturally?
I think the mobs should be farmed for XP because, but to be fair, the mobs don't actually contribute anything meaningful other than their loot or XP. They're not players. They're just random. They're just random bits of code that have no real control over themselves. And they also pose a danger to us. I know we've all been killed by mobs several times over the years playing Minecraft. Don't you just hate it when you're building something and a creeper comes up? TNT farm right there. Don't you just hate it when a phantom shows up? Me too. They're the worst mob in the game. They shouldn't exist, Mojang. Don't you just hate it when a skeleton shows up? Arrow resources right there. Don't you just hate it when any mob shows up and kills you for no reason? They can't help it. But they also don't do anything to help us other than give us their resources.
Alright. Kaes, what do you think? Should they be allowed to roam naturally?
Well, I mean, depends on the mob, I suppose. Because, like, let's talk about this for a second.
That's actually a great point.
Yeah, like passive mobs.
That's true.
If you want to kill them for food, I guess you could do that, but it'd just kind of be a little weird. Gonna enforce any laws on that, but you know, if you want to kill a passive mob, you can. It's just kind of savory.
Yeah. In that case, I think I would like to amend my statement, and I actually like the direction that he's going in with that. And it does bring up an interesting point. At what point do we draw the line? And I would say hostile mobs, obviously, feel free to farm them as you'd like. Passive mobs that you can collect food and milk from, for example, like cows. I love cows. They're one of my favorite animals, an animal I like both as food and as a pet. But I would say be sustainable with those, with the passive mobs. They don't attack you, they provide you with food and resources, and, you know, as long as you maybe keep them in a field somewhere, they can roam around as they please, but, you know, if you keep them in a field, keep them happy, take care of them, repopulate. Like trees, for example. I remember last time we talked about trees and replanting trees when you break them. Take care of your animals, the passive ones, repopulate them. The hostile mobs, I mean, let's be fair, there are an infinite amount of mobs in Minecraft. There's an infinite amount of world in Minecraft, but, you know, passive mobs, take care of the passive mobs, repopulate them, and...
Actually, in Bedrock, there's a Farlands.
That is true. Well, that was Java that the Farlands exist. There's technically a Farlands in Bedrock, but not really. You can go beyond it, it just gets really laggy.
Yeah, that's called the End Farlands.
Alright, we're getting a bit off topic.
But, you know.
My point is there's an infinite amount of mobs in the game. There's no, like... I mean, not all at once, but there's no limit to the amount that will spawn over time. I know there's a limit that can be spawned at once, but once you kill one, another can spawn in.
Alright, so a follow-up question. What would your conditions be for conditionally hostile mobs, like Enderman? We've talked a lot about passive and aggressive mobs.
Conditionally hostile mobs. Okay, so things like spiders and Endermen. Here's the thing. They're hostile always at night, and if you get too close to an Enderman, it will, if you even look at it funny, it will attack you. So I wouldn't call that, conditionally hostile. I would say it's only hostile. It's like any other mob. If you get too close and look at it, it will, attack you. Just because you're out of, its distance doesn't mean it's not hostile. Spiders are a good question. I can actually hear one in the background right now. During the day, they're fine, but, at night when they attack, or if you attack them during the day for whatever reason, then I'd say go for it. But I'm going to lump spiders into that hostile category, just because they actually give you a decent amount of resources as they are, and the fact that I'd say the majority of the time they are considered hostile. And also, they were one of the 4 original hostile mobs in Minecraft. Up there with the zombie, the skeleton.
I think you're overcomplicating it. Really, we should think about things simply. If it attacks you, you can kill it.
Yeah, I'm undercomplicating it. That's why I'm lumping the conditionals in with the full-time hostiles and decreasing the number of categories.
That's a lot of work. You're hurting my head.
I'm sorry your head
Just
can't
kill
handle
him.
small words.
Anyways, but Endermen specifically need to be killed and farmed even more. We need to make an Enderman farm in the end, make it public, and then that'll be really cool, because then we can get a bunch of Ender Pearls and experience just like that.
So,
Enderman farms are really efficient.
just as... Now, this may or may not pertain to a question further, but about your religion case. You worship the Ender Dragon, correct?
Yes.
And you're saying you would make a farm out of the Ender Dragon's underlings.
They're not the Ender Dragon's underlings. The Ender Dragon hates them. They were placed in the end to receive punishment.
Now, you say that, but I'm an Enderman. And I can say that Susan loves us.
That
She
sounds
does not. She attacks you guys every day.
That sounds kind of racist, man. Isn't your religion...
You said that you would kill them.
You said you'd kill them too. You said you'd build a farm for them. That sounds worse than what I did.
Yeah.
You also said you'd kill them, so now who's the racist?
This is not like a humanitarian struggle. You're short for an Enderman. And I'm looking straight into your eyes and you're not attacking me.
Not yet.
Yeah, because I'm the king of Endermen.
Civility, people.
I know civility. Exactly.
You're just making these things up. You're not an Enderman.
That's kind of racist.
Whatever you would like to believe.
Caseist the racist.
On to our next
What are you talking about? Hey, you could literally find videos from speedruns of the Ender Dragon attacking Endermen. It just happens.
On to our next question. Should TNT mining be banned due to its destructive nature? Jack.
I don't think it should be banned. TNT's been around for at least 15 years. It hasn't actually... I mean, granted, it can be dangerous if you don't use it properly, but I feel like that falls under part of the Minecraft education system. We should learn how to use it in a way that it's safe to players. And, you know, let's be fair, all the good resources are down deep enough where it won't hurt anybody in the overworld anyway, unless they're, like, right there. Overall, I think TNT shouldn't be banned. It's a very useful resource, and it helps efficiency. Okay.
Kaes, what are your opinions on that?
I mean, why would it be banned? It's not like it's TNT mining, not TNT, like, you know, placing it, like, above ground and destroying buildings or whatever. As long as it's not destroying another player's creation, it's fine.
Bless you.
Bless you.
I said it first.
All right.
What is with you today?
Nothing.
Like, you're kind of acting like a little standoffish.
I'm sorry, did you want a hug?
Why don't you take a purple glow stick?
Ew, that's evil.
Maybe it'll make you feel better.
No, that's
Evil?
Yeah, watch, I'm puking. See?
Hey, that was a peace offering. That was a peace offering.
All right, people. Civility.
That's great.
Those
yeah.
are mine. Those are mine.
My opponent is being a bit rude
Would you like a peace
Continue
offering?
on to the next question.
Here's a peace offering. It's not a real totem, it's a statue.
Just continue on to the next question.
Similarly, in our line of explosive-related questions, is it ethical to use creepers as a demolition crew?
I'd say so. I mean, we already established that creepers, can be farmed. So as long as we're killing them, it doesn't really matter what way we go about it. Granted, they don't give you the resources, but there's an infinite amount of creepers that could hypothetically exist in time. So, as long as they're killing them, might as well get some use out of them. Whether it's through their XP, their gunpowder, or strip mining.
Nevertheless, if you were to use creepers as a demolition crew, you would need someone to be able to explode them. Would that not be putting that person at risk?
Not entirely. What you could do is you could have a thing of TNT. You could put all the creepers in one place, put them in a hole. You could place a block of TNT down there attached to a target with redstone, and then you can shoot the target, and then that will activate the TNT, which will blow up the creepers.
Yes, but doesn't that just blow up the creepers and have them not be exploding themselves?
That is actually a good point. Well, you could hit them with a lightning rod.
I think you're thinking about this too hard.
Maybe I am. I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Here's my take on this.
But at the end of the day,
Creeper demolition crews are very much ill-advised, not because of ethicality, but because it's just dangerous. They're like TNT, except it walks around and it could blow up anything, not just where you place it. It's just a bad idea.
Well, on to our next question.
Okay.
Should we offer a griefer redemption program?
Well,
yeah.
The 3/5 Act already states what to do with that, and that's kind of like a redemption program, but it's more like a restitution program. But, well, what do you mean by redemption program? Like teaching them how to be better, or like imprisonment?
I think it would be something like the education system we talked about earlier, where we would educate them on how to not break the law.
Alright, then I think that would end up working better in the long run. It might be a little bit of a pain to deal with, but if it has a chance of actually getting rid of griefing in the server, I think it's worthwhile.
Kaes?
Griefers should be placed in adventure mode and put into the end. And I'm not talking about the main end island, I'm talking about the other end islands, where they would find it extremely difficult to escape. And then, rather than being imprisoned, they will have a set term. Once the term is over, then education will commence. I'm talking about a complete overhaul of the punishment for griefers, rather than putting them in some place in a bedrock cage. We could let them roam around in the end islands.
No one said they would be put in a bedrock cage.
Well, that's what we did last time.
We did? Oh yeah, that's right, we did. But that's just because there was a kid that I didn't like.
Oh my god, that's an uneven use of the law. It doesn't sound very cool.
We didn't have a law about it yet, remember? We didn't actually have...
for lawlessness.
We didn't actually have a law about griefing, so as the high-ranking government official that I was, and also the creator of the server, I took it upon myself to dole out a punishment as I saw fit. And considering that he, practically TNT strip-mined the Funland, I think that was fitting.
Yeah. But, roaming around in an apocalyptic wasteland is so much cooler for a punishment.
That's called the Nether.
I want the apocalyptic wasteland to not have anything in it, so they can't really die too easily.
You know there's such a thing as the void, right? They can just jump off instead of having to wait to drown in lava and catch fire and shit. Oh, we lost
Oh.
we lost our host. All right.
Well, I mean, the void, you know.
Yeah.
That's just one way to deal with the grievers, I guess. Turn off, keep inventory, and then they just dispose of themselves.
That is a very cynical way to think about it, but I guess, you know, we've been at this for 20 minutes. What do you say we call that a day?
I was looking for some...
It doesn't seem like there are many questions left that apply to things we haven't already talked about. Unless one of you would like to answer the question of, would you rename Yeetonia to Big Yeet if elected?
Absolutely not. I think Yeetonia sounds like a much more elegant and sophisticated name. Big Yeet sounds like something that like a 10-year-old child would call himself because he's a few extra pounds heavy.
Kaes, do you have any opinions on this?
So here's the thing. I'm not really a big fan of Big Yeet. Well, by the way, who even came up with that?
I did.
Big Yeet?
No, Big Yeet. No. Actually, that was one of the questions that ChatGPT gave me. I asked it to write some random questions to add into the list of questions I made myself. And
Ew, no.
Yeah.
I hate ChatGPT.
Alright then.
Then should we name it to Small Yeet?
No. Absolutely not. If we're gonna
Case?
rename...
No! Ask better questions.
Alright then, I
Like
think
about
that
the purple party.
Medium Yeet?
medium rare Yeet.
Okay.
Alright.
Why don't you,
I think average
Oh, yes,
Yeet
yes, good
is
question, good
That
question.
is a great question.
Good
We
question.
had one from the audience that says, will you be a good leader? I'm gonna let Kaes answer that first.
Okay. So this guy has been a leader for a really, really long time. I don't know about you, but that screams corruption in some area. We don't have term limits either.
Yes,
and if elected, I intend to implement those.
We have a term cooldown. You
Term cooldown?
You can serve no more than 2 consecutive terms, or 2.5 if you ascend to the office. It's outlined in our constitution, but the point is you can serve no more than 2 of your own terms consecutively before you have to take a break.
Yeah, and Vladimir Putin had a term cooldown, but guess what? He's back.
Actually, that's just because he rewrote that's because he only served 1 term, then got reelected, and then changed their constitution.
Yeah, you're not going to change the constitution, are you?
No, I'm standing on the presidential term, on the term cooldown for the presidents. I think it's a good way to ensure that no one
How many
rules for
times
too
have you
long
been
a time.
president?
I think we've gotten wildly off topic.
Actually,
There was one question that was asked, and it was, will you be a good leader?
alright then, since he's refusing to answer straight, I will say this. I have been a good leader, and I will continue to be a good leader as long as the people want me. My question that I want to ask you guys is, are you happy here? Do you enjoy Yeetonia? Do you love this country? Is your life good? If your life is good, then I say, why bother making a change and stick with what's good? If you feel that your life isn't good in this country, then tell me what's bothering you and I'll try to fix it. Or, if you really don't think it's that I'm doing a good job for you, then feel free to vote your conscience. But all I'm saying is, ask yourself when it comes time for election day, are you happy? Are you content with this leadership?
Well, I think that's all we have for tonight.
Indeed. Kaes, thank
Unless
you for...
Case would like to answer the question instead of attacking.
Okay, I'll answer the question.
We all know
Do you think that we need to try something new? I'm just saying, like I said, new holiday. Wouldn't a new holiday be cool? You can keep a lot of things the same, sure. In fact, it would be rather easy to.
Then what's the point of electing you if you're going to do everything the same as I did?
Well, what would be the point in electing you?
Why bother making a change if you're just going to do the same thing that I did?
Anyways, this is my question. Please don't patronize.
I'm not patronizing you. I'm just asking you. The Yeetonian people are probably thinking themselves right now.
I didn't speak up when I was trying to answer your questions.
I would have let you ask me a question.
Anyways.
It's not my fault you didn't take that chance.
Jack.
Please. Fine. Anyways. It's really quite simple. You see this book? This book outlines all of the plans for the Purple Party and the purple things. And if you like the color purple, you should vote for me.
It's probably blank.
Now, like I said, there's plans for
Jack.
More...
Kaes,
if you're not going to take me seriously, I'm going to take my leave.
I'll be quiet.
Good. Anyways, I intend, very much so, to be a good leader, but I also intend to give power to purple and people that like purple. All you need to do is just say you like purple, and then I'll give you a handshake, I guess. I don't know, I don't have any other ideas. No, we're going to, well, disable taxes first off. Because, honestly, you should have the right to earn all of your hard-earned labor. I'm talking about labor here. And as well as the mob farm plans, I have a lot of plans. And the expansion of the federal state into the end. Don't you still want that interdimensional trade? Because Mr. Yeet here, he seems a bit scared to do so. If he had wanted to, he would have done so a long time ago, don't you think? It's about time we had a change. That's all I'll say.
Well, I believe that is all our time for today. Unless there are any closing statements you two would like to make.
I'm good. I would just like to thank Governor Kaes for coming out
I'm
today.
good.
And a quick shout out to my running mate, who is unfortunately not in the
Audience today, but she is doing a good job representing not only my party, but her own party that is quickly being taken over by this purple man over here.
What? Hey.
Oh yeah, my running mate's from the Opportunity Party.
The Opportunity Party is getting dissolved, sure, but I didn't say it was getting subsumed into the Purple Party. I mean, clearly that's the case if you're running mates from the Opportunity Party, that they're going to join you in the Conservative Party once the Opportunity Party is no more. Or if that's right, actually. I'm starting to think that...
Nope.
Hello?
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Alright. Chase, thank you very much for hosting.
Yep. Oh, wait, Toki.
Yes, we have another question.
Oh yeah, what's the question?
I don't know where they are, but...
Oh yeah, she's not in the theater right now. I'll teleport her. Give me a second. Alright, there she is. She's over there. But let's make it quick, because this has gone on for like a half hour. It's from me. How can we trust that you won't do anything drastic? Just died. That was weird. How can we trust I won't do anything drastic during your term? That is a great question. because I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like doing anything drastic, and also that's not the kind of leader that I am. Life is good in Etonia. We don't need anything that crazy.
Hey,
Damn.
I know you hate purple, but like, take your partisan affliction somewhere else.
I know you hate conservatives, but take your partisan affliction somewhere else.
I never said I hated conservatives.
Uh-huh. Alright, well...
I would like to point out that he's currently
Holding a trident.
That's cool.
aiming
Yes.
a trident.
Alright, well, we do have to wrap this up because we're over time, but
Yeah, come on, just hit me.
I'm good. But, anyway. Hey! No firing weapons in the house. Alright, anyway. Oh,
Who
God.
fired that?
Well, I think that's enough for today. Thank you all for watching, and
Yeah.
I hope that everyone lives to see the next episode. Bye!